Prince Harry believed he was special. When he met Meghan, when their relationship accelerated from casual dates to serious commitment, he thought she had chosen him, not because of his title, not because of his royal status, but because of who he was as a person. He held on to that belief through every scandal, every family conflict, every public betrayal. It was the foundation that justified abandoning his family, burning bridges with his brother, and building a new life in California. But according to royal biographer Tom Bower, who has spent years investigating Meghan's past, Harry has recently learned something that has shattered that foundation completely. Meghan did not choose Harry first. She allegedly targeted Prince Andrew initially. Harry was plan B. Want to know how Tom Bower uncovered this explosive truth? Sources close to the biographer claim he has documentation, testimonies and evidence that traces Meghan's calculated attempts to access the royal family through Andrew before she ever met Harry. And when those attempts allegedly failed to gain the traction she wanted, insiders suggest she shifted her focus to the younger, more vulnerable prince who would prove far easier to manipulate. This is not speculation about her intentions. According to those who have seen Bower's research, this is a documented pattern of targeting royalty with strategic precision. And Harry, sources say, is furious. Not at the people revealing this information, but at himself, for being naive enough to believe he was ever anything more than a backup plan, and at Meghan, for allegedly playing him from the very beginning while he defended her against a world that was trying to warn him. To understand how Meghan allegedly targeted Prince Andrew before Harry, you need to go back to her years navigating elite British social circles. Long before she met Harry, long before the royal wedding, Meghan was reportedly making calculated moves to position herself near royalty. But here's what most people don't know. According to sources familiar with her strategy during those years, Meghan understood that access to the royal family required the right connections, the right introductions, and most importantly, the right targets. She allegedly studied who was vulnerable, who was accessible, who could be approached without the heavy palace security that surrounded senior working royals. And Prince Andrew, according to insiders, fit that profile perfectly. Word from people who moved in elite social circles during this period claims Meghan was allegedly present at events where Andrew was known to appear. Not coincidentally, strategically. Sources suggest she cultivated relationships with people in Andrew's orbit, people who could facilitate introductions, people who understood how to position attractive women near the prince in settings where organic connections seemed possible. People familiar with Andrew's social patterns claim he frequented certain exclusive clubs and private gatherings where beautiful women and wealthy men intersected. And Meghan, according to insiders, allegedly made herself visible in exactly those spaces, not through membership she could afford, through connections she had carefully developed with people who could bring her into rooms where princes mingled. Those who allegedly witnessed Meghan during this period describe a woman focused on one clear goal: royal proximity. She reportedly asked questions about Andrew's schedule, about his interests, about what impressed him. She allegedly positioned herself at charity events he attended. She cultivated friendships with women in his social circle, and according to sources, she made it known through carefully chosen intermediaries that she found the prince charming and would welcome introduction. This was not casual social climbing. Insiders claim this was targeted pursuit of a specific royal with methodical planning behind every move. This is where the story shifts from strategy to devastating truth. So when did Harry allegedly discover that he was not Meghan's first choice but her backup plan? According to sources close to the prince, the revelation came through Tom Bower's research. Bower, who has written extensively about Meghan and the royal family, allegedly uncovered evidence during his investigation that Meghan had attempted to access the royal family through Andrew before she ever met Harry. And when Bower's findings began circulating through royal and media circles, insiders claim someone made sure Harry saw the documentation. Want to know what that documentation reportedly contains? Sources familiar with Bower's research suggest it includes testimonies from people who witnessed Meghan's alleged pursuit of Andrew, accounts from individuals who were asked to facilitate introductions, evidence of Meghan's presence at specific events where Andrew was the clear target of her attention. And most damaging, according to insiders, communications that allegedly show Meghan's awareness that Andrew could be a pathway to royal status and the lifestyle she craved. People close to Harry claim that when he first heard these allegations, he dismissed them as lies designed to hurt Meghan. But as more evidence emerged, as Bower's sources proved credible, as the pattern became undeniable, Harry allegedly began to recognise the truth he had been avoiding. that his meeting with Meghan was not the fairy tale romance she described. It was the result of her failed first attempt at royal connection. And here's what cut deepest. Sources suggest Harry discovered that people in Meghan's network allegedly knew about her Andrew strategy, that when it became clear Andrew was not going to provide the access or commitment she wanted, those same people allegedly helped redirect her toward Harry, the vulnerable younger prince, the one still grieving his mother. The one desperate for love and validation, the one who would be far easier to capture than the more cynical, more experienced Andrew. And Harry, according to insiders, now understands he was deliberately targeted because Andrew had proven too difficult. He was not Meghan's soulmate, he was her more accessible alternative. As news of Bower's findings about Meghan targeting Andrew first began spreading through royal circles, reactions revealed fault lines that have existed for years. How did the palace respond when documentation emerged proving Harry was Plan B? Inside palace walls, sources say there is a complex mix of vindication and concern. Senior advisors who investigated Meghan's background before the wedding allegedly discovered hints of her Andrew connections but lacked concrete proof. Now that Bower has reportedly provided that documentation, insiders claim there is quiet satisfaction that their early suspicions are being validated. These are the voices arguing that the palace tried to protect Harry and was punished for it, that every warning they gave was dismissed as prejudice. And now the truth is emerging exactly as they predicted. Prince William's reaction is reportedly more personal and more angry. Word from those close to the Prince of Wales suggests William has known about Meghan's alleged Andrew pursuit for some time. He apparently tried to tell Harry about it, tried to explain that Meghan's interest in the royal family predated Harry, tried to warn that her feelings might not be as genuine as she claimed. And Harry, according to sources, accused William of jealousy and racism. Now, insiders claim William is struggling between wanting to say "I told you so" and recognising that his brother is genuinely devastated. Meanwhile, Prince Andrew's position in all of this is allegedly the most complicated. Sources suggest Andrew was aware of Meghan's attempts to access his social circle, but never took her seriously as a romantic prospect. According to people familiar with Andrew's perspective, he saw her as attractive but ultimately unremarkable, not someone worth pursuing or even giving much attention to. And now, insiders claim Andrew is reportedly uncomfortable that his rejection of Meghan's alleged advances inadvertently pushed her toward Harry. Some palace sources suggest Andrew feels guilty, others claim he is simply relieved he avoided the disaster that Harry walked into. And in California, word from those close to the Sussexes suggests Meghan is allegedly furious that Bower's research is being taken seriously, that Harry is questioning her, that the Plan B narrative is gaining traction. According to insiders, she denies targeting Andrew and frames the allegations as more attacks from people who cannot accept a strong woman marrying into their family. But here's what most people don't know. What specific evidence has Tom Bower allegedly uncovered that proves Meghan targeted Andrew before Harry? The claims paint a picture of calculated pursuit that Harry never suspected. The first piece of evidence involves Meghan's alleged presence at exclusive events frequented by Andrew during her visits to London. Sources familiar with Bower's research claim he has documented specific occasions when Meghan attended gatherings where Andrew was the primary draw, where her presence required connections she did not have organically, where she was allegedly brought in specifically to be positioned near the prince. Insiders suggest these were not public events but private parties at estates and clubs where Andrew felt comfortable and where beautiful women were often present as part of the social dynamic. According to sources, Bower has testimonies from people who witnessed Meghan at these events, who remember her focus on Andrew, who recall conversations about her interest in meeting him properly. The second piece of evidence is more direct. Multiple sources claim Bower has spoken to individuals who allegedly helped facilitate introductions between Meghan and Andrew. These intermediaries reportedly confirmed that Meghan expressed interest in the prince, that she asked them to arrange meetings or position her where casual conversation might occur, that she made her availability clear. According to insiders familiar with Bower's findings, these sources had no reason to lie and significant credibility within elite social circles. Their testimonies allegedly establish a pattern of Meghan actively pursuing Andrew's attention over an extended period. The third piece of evidence involves what happened when Andrew allegedly failed to reciprocate Meghan's interest. Sources suggest Bower has documented how Meghan's focus shifted from Andrew to Harry after it became clear the older prince was not going to provide the pathway she wanted. According to insiders, this shift was not gradual or organic. It was reportedly deliberate and swift, with the same people who had positioned Meghan near Andrew suddenly redirecting their efforts toward the younger brother. And the fourth piece of evidence is what allegedly devastates Harry most. Bauer has reportedly uncovered communications suggesting Meghan's team knew exactly who Harry was before their arranged meeting, that they researched his vulnerabilities, that they understood he would be more receptive to romance than Andrew, and that they positioned Meghan accordingly. If true, this means Harry's entire relationship was built on intelligence gathered during Meghan's failed Andrew pursuit. He was not a new opportunity, he was a better target. To understand how Meghan gained access to Andrew's social circle and later to Harry, you need to understand the architects who opened those doors. So who were the power brokers that positioned Meghan near royalty? The first figure is Marcus Anderson, whose name appears repeatedly in accounts of Meghan's royal pursuit. Sources familiar with Anderson's role claim he was not simply a friend. He allegedly understood how to navigate elite British social circles, knew which events provided access to royalty, and recognised that Meghan's ambitions extended beyond Hollywood's success. According to insiders, Anderson allegedly helped position Meghan at gatherings where Andrew was present, facilitated introductions through mutual acquaintances, and created opportunities for organic-seeming encounters. People who witnessed Anderson's involvement claim he operated as Meghan's strategist, someone who understood that accessing royalty required patience, positioning, and the right intermediaries. And when Andrew proved unreceptive, sources suggest Anderson allegedly helped redirect the same strategy toward Harry. Word from insiders familiar with how these social networks function suggests Anderson knew exactly what he was doing, that he recognised Harry as a more vulnerable target, understood Harry's need for validation after years of playing second to William, and allegedly helped craft the circumstances that would make Meghan seem like Harry's saviour rather than his pursuer. The second architect is more controversial. Sources point to individuals within what some call the Soho House network, who allegedly understood how to position attractive women near powerful men. According to insiders, these figures operated as connectors who brought together beauty and power in settings designed to facilitate relationships that served multiple agendas. Meghan, sources claim, was allegedly seen as a particularly valuable project because she was intelligent, ambitious, and understood exactly what these connections could provide. People familiar with this network suggest they helped Meghan gain access first to Andrew's orbit and then, when that failed, to Harry's world. And they allegedly did so knowing that royal connection would elevate not just Meghan but everyone associated with her rise. What makes Tom Bauer's research truly dangerous for Meghan is not just what he has published, but what he still knows and could reveal. Want to know what documentation Bauer is allegedly holding that could completely destroy Meghan's narrative? According to sources familiar with the biographer's work, Bauer conducted hundreds of interviews for his research. He spoke to people who knew Meghan before she was famous, who witnessed her social climbing strategies, who participated in positioning her near royalty, and many of those sources allegedly provided information that was too explosive or legally risky to include in his published work. Insiders claim Bauer has a vault of unused material, testimonies that name specific people who helped Meghan access royal circles, communications that allegedly show her awareness of exactly what she was doing when pursuing Andrew and later Harry. Evidence of relationships and arrangements she has never publicly acknowledged, but that explain how she maintained access to elite spaces her income could not support. Word from people familiar with Bauer's files suggests he documented not just the Andrew before Harry timeline, but the entire architecture of Meghan's social strategy. How she identified targets, how she researched their vulnerabilities, how she positioned herself to seem like exactly what they needed. According to sources, Bauer's research allegedly reveals a level of calculation that goes beyond normal ambition into something far more manipulative. And this documentation is what reportedly changed how Harry sees his wife. Not tabloid rumours, but credible research by a respected biographer who has proven record of accuracy. Those close to Harry claim he can no longer dismiss the allegations because Bauer's sources are too credible, too numerous, too consistent. The vault of evidence exists. And every time Meghan attacks the palace or portrays herself as victim, sources suggest Bauer's documentation grows more relevant to understanding who she really is and what she really wanted from the beginning. And now we reach the final truth that Harry cannot escape no matter how desperately he defends Meghan. How does a prince survive discovering he was always second choice? Harry stands in California, facing documentation that allegedly proves his fairy tale was actually someone else's backup plan. According to sources close to the prince, he is devastated by a realization that undermines everything he sacrificed. That when Meghan looked into his eyes and told him he was different, that he was special, that he was the one she had been waiting for, she was allegedly performing lines perfected during her pursuit of his uncle. That every intimate moment he treasured was potentially calculated by someone who had been planning royal access long before they met. Word from insiders suggests Harry now questions every aspect of their relationship. Was her vulnerability real or strategic? Were her tears genuine or tactical? Did she ever love him or just love what he represented? And the most painful question, according to those close to Harry, if Andrew had reciprocated her interest, would she have ever looked at Harry at all? Sources claim Harry knows the answer but cannot admit it, because admitting he was Plan B means admitting he destroyed his family relationships, abandoned his royal role, and burned every bridge for a woman who wanted his brother's uncle first and settled for him only after that pursuit failed. The fury Harry reportedly feels is not directed at Tom Bower for uncovering the truth. It is directed at himself for being naive enough to believe Meghan chose him for who he was rather than what he could provide. And at Meghan for allegedly targeting him with the same calculated strategy she used on Andrew, just executed with more success because Harry was more vulnerable. Those familiar with the situation claim Harry is trapped in an impossible position. He can admit the truth and watch his marriage and California life collapse. Or he can keep defending Meghan while knowing she allegedly pursued his uncle first and settled for him as more accessible alternative. According to insiders, Harry is choosing continued defense because the alternative is too humiliating to bear. But the fury remains, the knowledge gnaws at him. And Tom Bower's documentation stands as permanent proof that the love story Harry sacrificed everything for was allegedly just the successful execution of Meghan's Plan B. Because in the end, every prince wants to believe he was chosen for himself rather than his crown. And discovering you were neither first choice nor genuine choice destroys more than relationships. It destroys the very foundation of who you believed you were. Harry was not Meghan's destiny. According to the evidence Tom Bower has assembled, Harry was her fallback after Andrew proved unattainable. And that truth, more than any other, is what makes Harry furious while forcing him to defend the woman who allegedly played him from the beginning. Subscribe to Royal Unfiltered for more such news. Thanks for watching.